Good morning, friends. Today our topic is I am Professor Panchabhai from KKR College of Engineering. Our today's topic is efficiency of a spiral gear, one of the important topic for spiral gear. Okay. In this diagram, you can see there are two gears are shown, whose line diagram is shown only top view line diagram. Where this horizontal one is gear number one, which is the spiral gear, or also called as a driver, and to that gear one of the pitch circle diameter which has been drawn at some inclination, that is a spiral gear or a driven gear number 2. Both the gears are intersecting at pitch point P. Okay, how the spiral gear are connected together? The spiral gear axis are non-parallel and non-intersecting. Okay, they are not parallel to each other. The power transmission from gear 1 to the gear 1 is non-parallel and non-intersecting. The gears are non-parallel and non-intersecting. So it means you are transmitting the power in such a way that in case of a spur gear, the gears are parallel to each other. In case of a helical gear also, the gears are parallel to each other. Gear mean in the sense a gear axis are parallel to each other. Okay. Now for the gear number 1, perpendicular to the shaft, perpendicular to this gear. So this is the axis number 1. This is the axis number 2. You can see the gears are, and they are at certain distance to each other, so they are not parallel to each other and also not intersecting. From another view you can see that. Okay, then this is the shaft axis number 1, this is the shaft axis number 2. Okay, where you can show in this diagram I have shown some force diagram. Okay, what are the different forces are acting onto the gear number 1, which is the driver gear, and on this side what are the different forces are acting on the gear number 2. Okay, along perpendicular to the shaft axis there is a tangential force which is used to drive the gear. Okay, input gear, and same way perpendicular to the axis number 2, gear tangential force number 2 in this direction. Okay, then to this tangential force, line of action of a tangential force, I am supposed to draw one normal from the pitch point which is making an angle of alpha 1 with respect to the tangential force line of action. Means to the tangential force, line of action of a tangential force, I had drawn one common normal which is passing through the pitch point from for both the sides. Okay, for gear number 1 in this direction, normal force, and which is extending that same line over there. So for gear number 2 it is a normal reaction force. Okay, vector for a normal reaction. And what will be the angle between tangential force and a normal reaction? It is always a helix angle or a spiral angle in case of a spiral gear. Okay, similarly this is a notation for alpha 1 when it is related to gear number 1, and this will be the alpha 2, that is an angle between the tangential force and a normal force, that is alpha 2 over here. You can see that. Okay, so these are the two forces. Okay, then tangential force is not the only force acting onto the gear. There is, along with that, there is axial force for the gear number 1 and gear number 2. Okay, so axial force, and this axial force and tangential force give me the resultant force. Okay, resultant force of will give, what is the resultant force value? It will be a summation of a tangential force and axial force. Okay, and this resultant force will be always making an angle of phi, that is a frictional angle with respect to the normal force along the line of action of a normal force. This is all in line of action of normal force, means this is a common normal drawn at the pitch point. Okay, this is a common, this line is nothing but EG. Okay, E to G, for E with respect to the gear number gear number 1, and for G with respect to gear number 2. So this line is GG is representing in a common normal, and to that common normal, if I want to draw a line at an angle of frictional force, this is nothing but a resultant. This resultant is obtained from the tangential force and axial force. Axial force for the gear number 1 will be parallel to the axis of the gear number 1. Okay, similarly axial force for the gear number 2 will be parallel to the shaft axis of the gear number 2 over here. BD represent me the axial force, and AC represent me the axial force of the gear number 1, and BD represent me the axial force of the gear number 2. If I draw a resultant at an angle of phi with respect to the common normal, which is nothing but a EG in this case, so this is representing me the resultant. This resultant is extended along for the gear number 2. So in this case PD is representing me the resultant, and in this case PC is representing me the resultant. So these are the forces acting on this spiral gear. Okay, where alpha 2 is representing the angle of spiral angle for the gear number 2, alpha 1 is representing the spiral angle for the gear number 1, that is the driver, and phi is the friction angle present between the common normal and a resultant. Okay. Now next diagram. In this diagram, okay, what I had done, I had drawn one more line which will be perpendicular to the resultant. This resultant CD is over there, okay, to that, sorry, CG, yes, yes, to that result, perpendicular to the resultant is C and D, sorry, CD, yes, this one is, I got a mistake over there, CD, this CD perpendicular to the resultant, this one I had drawn a normal line. Okay, now from the figure you can see perpendicular to the tangential force is the axis of the shaft, okay, and angle between the tangential force and a normal, okay, that is the alpha 1. Okay, now perpendicular to the tangential force is the axis of the shaft, and perpendicular to the normal is this line which I have been drawn right now. So angle between the axis of the shaft and a line drawn perpendicular to the resultant is similar to the alpha 1. You can see over there, I have drawn perpendicular to this one, AP, I have drawn this one, and perpendicular to this P, I have drawn these two lines. So similar, it means that I have shifted the alpha 1 value, that is spiral angle values, or rotated the spiral angle with an angle of 90 degree similarly, just. And similar to that one, the angle alpha 2, that is the spiral angle alpha 2, is present between the tangential force and normal, that is alpha 2. And I had drawn a line, this is the shaft axis which is perpendicular to the FT2, and this is the line which is perpendicular to the resultant. So angle between the resultant, perpendicular to the resultant, and perpendicular to the tangential, but that is nothing but a shaft axis, is nothing but a alpha 2, that is a spiral angle for the gear number 2. And if you look at the figure, alpha 1 and alpha 2, okay, this is making some angle. What is this angle? This is, if I denote it with the help of a theta. What is this theta? This theta is nothing but theta will be equivalent to something alpha 1 plus alpha 2 in this case. So what is the theta? If you look at the diagram very well, so this is the angle between the two shaft axes, that is axis number 1 and axis number 2. So this is called as a shaft angle. And right now in this case, it is alpha 1 plus alpha 2. Are you getting me? Okay, this one is over. Then furthermore, I have extended this figure in such a way that I have considered the triangle APC. Okay, angle APE is alpha 1, angle CPE is phi. So what is the remaining angle A, P and C? This angle is equal to alpha 1 minus this value phi. So it can be equivalent to alpha 1 minus phi. Okay, this remaining angle A, P and C. Total is alpha 1. The next one is phi. So the first part is nothing but alpha 1 minus phi. And similarly for a driven gear, okay, this angle I am talking about a triangle BPD, BP and D. The first angle is BPG is alpha 2 and GPD, that is a phi. And if I taken a total angle BPD, it becomes alpha 2 plus phi. What is this angle? This angle is nothing but an angle between the tangential force and a resultant. In this case also, tangential force and resultant. The angle between tangential force and resultant I have shown you over here with the help of this diagram. Okay, so the angle for the spiral gear or a driver gear, the angle between the tangential force and resultant one is alpha 1 minus phi, and for a driven gear it will be alpha 2 plus phi. Now moving forward in triangle APC, if I consider the triangle APC, A, P and C, what are the forces are there? FT1 and resultant. If I want to make find a relation between tangential force and resultant, can I find out the relation between them? Yes, FT1 will be equivalent to some in terms of a cos function of this angle. So I can write an FT1 is equal to R in terms of R into cos of alpha 1 minus phi, because this is perpendicular. Angle is this one. This is the relation between adjacent upon hypotenuse. So from that I am getting the value of tangential force is equal to R into cos of alpha 1 minus phi from the figure in the previous figure, that is. Okay, so ft1 is equal to r into cos of alpha minus phi, alpha 1 minus phi. Okay, now what is the power input? Power input is nothing but tangential force into the pitch line velocity. So input power can be calculated as a tangential force ft1, input power, input tangential force, into pitch line velocity of whom? A input gear, a driving gear. So ft1 into v1. Can I write down v1, that is the pitch line velocity, in terms of pi d n by 60? So I write down, just simply write down the velocity value, pitch line velocity, okay, or we may say that also rolling velocity, that is in terms of a pi d n by 60. So ft1 tangential force into the pi d n 60. Once again I can replace the tangential value in terms of a resultant, r into cos of alpha 1 minus phi. So over here input power is equal to r into cos of alpha 1 minus phi from over here into pi d n by 60. This is for input power. Okay, for output power, what I have to do, I have to consider the resultant for output gear and tangential for the output gear. So I have to consider the triangle BPD. What is with the relation between in triangle BPD? Tangential force is equal to, once again, cos of, this is a 90 degree. So ft, that is the tangential force, equal to r into cos of alpha 2 plus phi. So that will be the tangential force, output tangential force, ft2 equal to r into cos of alpha 2 plus phi. So output power will be once again tangential force into the pitch line velocity for the output gear. Okay, so ft2, once again I am replacing the value of pitch line velocity in terms of a pi dn by 60. Just have a notation 2 so that it is for driven gear. Sorry, it is a driver gear is over there. Okay, so once again replacing the value of r in terms r into cos of alpha 2 plus phi. So r into cos of alpha 2 plus phi into pi d2n2. d2n2 represent meter the pitch circle diameter and rpm of gear number 2. Okay, then efficiency. What is the efficiency? Efficiency is nothing but output power upon input power. So over here I have written down the efficiency equal to output power upon input power, and these values have been replaced with the help of r into cos of alpha 2 plus phi into pi d2n2 by 60. Okay, for output power, and input power r into cos of alpha 1 minus phi into pi dn by 60. d1 representing for the gear number 1. Over here rr get cancelled. Okay, what is it? 60 by 60 is getting cancelled. What you are getting? The efficiency will be in simply in terms of d2n2 into cos of alpha 2 plus phi upon d1n1 into cos of alpha 1 minus phi. Over here you can find out no single force is over there for finding out the values of efficiency. Otherwise power is there, but power has been replaced with the help of some dimension, that is pitch circle diameter d2n2, d2d1 and n2n1, that is the rpm. Okay, and alpha 1 and alpha 2 and phi. Alpha 1 and alpha 2 is nothing but the spiral angle for the gear 1 and 2, and phi is the friction angle for that gear. So simply right now in this case you can find out there is no single force present to find out the value of efficiency, but still I have to replace this size also. Size means a d2 d1 and n2 n1. I have to remove these parts. What should I do? Okay, I know one relation. What is that? The normal module for the meshing gear, when two gears are meshed together, they have a normal module and they will have the same normal module unless and until they are not going to mesh. Okay, when two gears are meshing, they will have the same normal module. So normal module is equal to, and relation between normal module and transverse module is also known to me. We have seen in case of helical gear, okay, or also in case of while discussing the terminology of spiral gear also. We know that the normal module is equal to transverse module into the cos of helix angle or a spiral angle. So transverse module for the gear number 1 into cos of alpha 1 is equal to transverse module of a gear number 2 into cos of alpha 2. So simply mt1 into cos of alpha 1 is equal to mt2 into cos of alpha 2. What is a transverse module? Transverse module is nothing but d by t or d by z. Means what? It is the ratio of pitch circle diameter to the number of teeth on that gear. It is a ratio of mt2, pitch circle diameter of the gear, to the number of teeth. So I am just replacing the value of mt1 and mt2 by d1 by z1 and d2 by z2 respectively. So what I am getting, mn equal to d1 cos alpha 1 by z1 equal to d2 cos alpha 2 upon z2 related to the gear number 2. Now I can rearrange this equation above this equation, so that I will have d1 on one side and d2 on another side. So if I rearrange this equation, d1 will be equal to mn into z1 upon cos alpha 1, and for this one d2, so it will be equal to mn into z2 upon cos alpha 2. So equation number 2, what I am getting, d1 and d2's values in terms of mn z1 cos alpha 1 and mn z2 cos alpha 2. Okay, now I am putting these values d1 and d2, or other before that also I will take divide equation number 2 by equation number, so I will have a d2 by d1 ratio is over there on left hand side. Okay, so what will be the values if I am replacing d2, dividing d2 by d1, equation 2 by equation 1? So what I am getting, mn z2 cos alpha 2 upon mn z1 cos alpha 1, where mn get cancelled. What I am getting, z2, the cos alpha 1 which is at the numerator denominator side will be go on along with the z2, so I am getting a new equation z2 into cos alpha 1 upon z1 into cos alpha 2. Okay, what is this? This is the value of d2 by d1 equal to, so final value of d2 by d1 equal to z2 cos alpha 1 upon z1 cos alpha 2. But what is the requirement? My requirement is d2 by d1 along with n2 by n1. It means that d2 by d1 is not only the requirement, along with that n2 by n1 is required. So I have find out the values of d2 by d1. Okay, but what is required along with n2 by n1? So I am multiplying n2 by n1 on both the sides for this equation. So for this equation I am multiplying both sides by n2 by n1. So then finally I will have d2 n2 upon d1 n1. So what will be the value? It will be a z1 cos alpha 1 upon z2 cos alpha 1 upon z1 cos alpha 2. This is the value from this equation into multiplying n2 by n1 on both sides, n2 by n. Okay, so this is the value of d2 n2 upon d1 n1 is equal to z2 cos alpha 1 into n2 upon z1 cos alpha 2 into n1. Okay, this is the total value which is supposed to be replaced in this equation. Before that, what I have to go? I know that gear ratio is nothing but is equal to number of teeth on driven gear upon number of teeth on driven gear. Output gear, number of teeth on output gear upon number of teeth on input gear, is equal to input speed upon output speed. In terms of a speed, is it input speed upon output speed, and in terms of a number of teeth, output teeth upon input teeth. So if I make, so therefore I can make a cross multiplication of this one, and from that one z2 into n2 is equal to z1 into n1. So z2 into n2 equal to z1 into n1. Over here z2 into n2 and is equal to z1 n1. So I can, this is nothing but a 1 equal z2 n2 and z1 n1 getting cancelled to each other. What is remaining? Only d2 n2 upon d1 n1 is simply equal to cos of alpha 1 by cos of alpha 2. That is the only value which is remaining over there. So putting the values of d2 n2 upon d1 n1 is equal to cos of alpha 1 by alpha 2. The new efficiency equation will be equivalent to cos of alpha 1 upon cos of alpha 2 into cos of alpha 2 plus phi upon cos of alpha 1 minus phi. So if you look at the equation, you will find out the whole values of efficiencies in terms of a spiral angle for the driver and driven gear along with the helix angle. Friction angle. Okay, so cos of alpha 1 into cos of alpha 2 plus phi upon cos of alpha 2 into cos of alpha 1 minus phi. This is the final equation for the efficiency of the equation. Once again, we can modify it by using a trigonometric formulas. That is one of the trigonometric formula for a cos function is cos of a into cos of b is equal to half of cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b. This formula, if I apply this formula for treating alpha 1 as a and alpha 2 plus phi as a b for numerator and alpha 2 as a and alpha 1 minus phi as a b for a denominator, then I am having equation will be like will be converted into the 1 by 2 into cos of a plus b alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus phi, that is a plus b alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus phi, and plus cos of a minus b, so cos of alpha 1 minus of b, this b alpha 2 minus phi. That is the numerator side, and denominator side a is alpha 2 and b is alpha 1 minus phi. So half of
cos of a plus b, so a alpha 2 plus alpha 1 minus phi, that is a plus b, and cos of alpha 1, that is alpha 2 minus alpha 1 minus phi, so minus phi will be equivalent to plus phi. Okay, and final equation will be equivalent to cos of theta plus phi. What is alpha 1 plus alpha 2 in this case? In the previous case we have seen that it is a theta, that is a shaft angle, so we are going to replace this value with the theta, alpha 1 plus alpha 2 or alpha 2 plus alpha 1. So we are getting the equation cos of theta plus phi, cos of alpha 1 minus alpha 2 minus phi. And if you are rearranging this equation, and cos of alpha is equal to cos of minus alpha, both the same value. If I introduce negative values over there, you will have cos of theta plus phi plus cos of alpha 1 minus alpha 2 minus phi upon cos of theta minus phi, alpha 2 plus phi is equal to theta minus phi plus cos of alpha 1 minus alpha 2 minus phi, because theta is equal to alpha 1 plus alpha